Hello everyone, Beard Reads Books here, and in this book review I'm going to be reviewing Clubmen 1645. Just another little book. It's probably a bit more of a local interest book to the North Dorset area, but still a quite nice little interesting read for anyone who doesn't live in the North Dorset area. Basically what it's about is this. During the English Civil War, which was like the 1640s, mainly like 1642 to 1651, so mainly the 1640s, you had the like parliamentary army fighting against the royal army, and like a bit of a battle between royalists and parliamentary people. And what was happening was each army, whenever they were sort of garrisoned in various areas, they were proving, in like in some cases, they were proving to be a big like sort of drain on the local resources, and there's quite a lot of plundering, pillaging, raping, that kind of thing going on. And sort of the local population, as the Civil War went on, they were sort of growing more and more tired, frustrated at the way they were being treated by sort of the two opposing armies, and they started to sort of rise up a bit against these two armies and sort of forming their own sort of gatherings to protect themselves. And they sort of named themselves Clubmen because they weren't armed right with like guns or anything like that. The only sort of like weapons they had as such was like scythes and sort of things like that on the end of poles. So the Clubmen, as time went on, they became, in a sense, a third army within the Civil War. Not an army taking like an active part in the Civil War, fighting against the other two, but purely an army of sort of local people who were getting together, banding together to protect their property, their livelihood, and all the rest. It was a defensive army. They were just purely banding together to protect themselves. And obviously these armies, the Clubmen, they were putting together various declarations that they were putting forth towards the parliamentary forces and the royalist forces, sort of stating what they wanted, sort of like the garrisons to not plunder, to not sort of steal, rape, and all the rest, and sort of declarations putting forward that they wanted just peace and sort of, they just wanted to be left in peace and quiet to get about their daily lives whilst these two opposing armies were fighting against each other. Now, Clubmen 1645, it's sort of talks mainly about sort of events that happened obviously in 1645. It was the Dorset Clubmen in sort of in North Dorset that got together, and in Shaftesbury and the surrounding areas various events sort of happened, like the Clubmen meeting together and bit of a skirmish between the Clubmen and sort of like various sort of regiments from, I think it was mainly the parliamentary sides, but this book, it talks about the Clubmen of North Dorset and sort of recounting sort of some of the events that happened between them and the two warring sides. So like I said, it's probably a bit more of a local interest book for North Dorset and like Shaftesbury and sort of the surrounding areas. But it is, even if you're not from like sort of this area, like the Shaftesbury area, still quite an interesting little book to read because it's just a little snippet of history. So if you're sort of interested in history, in the Civil War, and sort of, and like you don't know much about the Clubmen, or you're interested in the Clubmen and want to know a little bit more, this is quite an interesting little book because it's to read, because it's a little snapshot of sort of the Clubmen in the North Dorset area. Now it's a small little book. It's only, I bought it for, it's £12. You might think that's a little bit pricey for what it is, you know. So, but you know, I personally was happy to pay £12 for it. So, but that's the price, like the retail price for it. So, you know, something you might want to bear in mind if you're thinking about buying it. But no, it's not a bad little book. It's like I said, it doesn't go into any great depth on the Clubmen in general as a whole. Like I said, it's dealing more specifically with the Clubmen of the Shaftesbury area. But no, it's not a bad little book. So yeah, I enjoyed reading it anyway. So yeah, anyway, just a short, sweet little book review. Hope you enjoyed watching it, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.